Hey sisters, welcome back for another Table Talk session. Today I'm looking for Lydia. Where is Lydia? So today I want to just share about a woman named Lydia. Before I get to this woman, Lydia, I want to just share that I'm a 90s baby. And I feel that I was able to experience one of the coolest eras of entertainment to some degree. I think 80s probably says they have it, 70s probably says they have it, but I'm a 90s baby and I think I grew up on some good stuff. So today I want to share with you this woman named Lydia. And I can relate to Lydia. I'm viewing her as like a Claire Huxtable or a Whitley Gilbert. Now, if you don't know these women that I just named, the characters that they played, I am very, very sorry. But getting back to Lydia, so today she would be called like in modern day entrepreneur. She was a businesswoman, very crafty in her own right. What I want you to notice about Lydia is that her life changed for the better, and her story is told within 3 verses. So, this woman in the Bible, her story or her character, who she is, who she was, is told within 3 verses, but she was important enough to be written down and told about. She's found in the book of Acts, chapter 16, and we'll read verses 13 through 15. So in verse 13, it said, "And on the Sabbath we went out of the city by a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made. And we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither." Now, in layman's terms, what this is saying is that Paul went on a Sabbath day to a riverside. He was led there, and when he got there, there was prayer being made by a group of women that resorted there. Now, where is Lydia? Lydia is amongst these other women. And what are these women doing? These women are praying. She was amongst women who were on some good stuff. And how do I know this? Because of verse 14. In verse 14, it says, "And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshiped God, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul." So, Lydia was amongst those women in search of something better for herself. I can relate to her. I grew up going to church every Sunday. But in myself, I knew that there was more to God than just going to church Sunday after Sunday because that was like the right thing to do. Like I knew there was more to this. And in my inner being, I wanted to really know God. I remember being in high school, like, man, like I really just want to know, like, how do I please this man, this God? How do I do that? I really wanted to know God. And it took me going to college, being out on my own, away from my parents, away from what I was brought up under, for my heart to really open up to him. I was in search for Siobhan. Like I wanted to know myself. I was in search of, who am I? What have I been created for? Like, I was in search of God, of a real relationship. And just like Lydia, when I heard my now husband sharing with me Acts 2:38, that's another scripture, it changed my life. Like I attended, as the scripture said with Lydia, I attended or I did the things which were spoken by the man of God, which were read from the scriptures. I'd never felt the presence of God, but when I heard the scriptures, Acts 2:38, Acts 2 on down, I knew that God was real because I experienced him. I have experienced God. In verse 15, the last scripture, it says, "And when she was baptized and her household, she besought us, saying, If ye have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us." How do I know that Lydia's life changed? She attended or she did the things that were told unto her from Paul. She showed in action. She was baptized. And then, because her life changed, she was able to influence her whole household. Her life changed, and it not only affected Lydia, but it affected her whole household. Herein lies today's point. Several people will tell you, but sis, what you do matters because I might be the little sister that only gets to see your life. I see what you do. I listen to what you say. I want to taste what you drink. I want to eat what you eat. Are you following me? What are you teaching me, sister? What are you teaching me? Are you teaching me how to twerk? What are you teaching me? What are you showing me? Are you showing me how to be loved correctly? Whether you be a big sister and there's someone younger looking at you, or whether you be a older sister and like my age, I'm looking to you. I'm looking, I'm watching. What environment are you creating for yourself? Like as a sister, as a woman, what environment are you creating for yourself? Is it a healthy environment? Is it toxic? Is it chaotic? Is it organized? Is it classy? Is it businesslike? What are you creating for yourself that will produce something for others? What you do matters. Yesterday, I got on YouTube and it lists like a list of suggested videos. Well, one of the suggested videos was a clip from a classic show, A Different World. 90s baby. Like, love the show. So, growing up, I enjoyed shows like The Cosby's. Sorry, not sorry. I watched A Different World. I myself attended an HBCU heavily influenced by these sitcoms, and the love that was shown in these shows influenced me. It made me look at this show like, oh, I can do like they did. They can go to college and be amongst people who look similar to them, people who were on the show. But that's my point. This is what I'm saying. What you surround yourself with becomes a part of you. What you watch, what you eat, what you touch, what you see, it all becomes a part of you. Check out this clip of Whitley Gilbert in her conversation with Dwayne.
Set a standard, and I couldn't hang, or I wasn't quite ready. I mean, when I first came to Hillman, I was Joe Knucklehead, goofy freshman with flip-up glasses.
Couldn't buy a day.
Yeah. But I ended up with you, free of charge.
Well, you know me. All or nothing.
Well, you better not change.
So, it was scenes like this that I remember seeing growing up. And it was a woman, Whitley, who was not perfect in the sense that she didn't always make the best choices, but she was a woman who I remembered who represented herself with a sense of class. She considered her mom and dad, her upbringing. She wanted to do things that were right. Likewise, when I thought about someone like Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, a woman much older than I was, I'm like 13. Even I watched the the whole season, the whole series again in college. Like I'm in college looking up to a Claire Huxtable who is much older than I am. And I'm thinking she's classy, she's beautiful, personality, she's a lawyer, she's loving to her family, she's admirable. Like she's somebody that you could look up to, right? So flash forward, if we compare the 80s or the 90s sitcoms to what we see currently on TV, they are polar opposites. So I started thinking, what would be different with my younger sisters that are seeing more women who are not showing such classiness, that are often flooding my timeline, often flooding my Instagram um, of suggestions sometimes where it's a commonplace. My real takeaway for today is that there's a Lydia that is near you, And if you don't see her because of the environment that you're in, I want you to go back and read the verses again. See her in the text. Lydia can be you. I am her. She is me. All because I had an open heart and a desire to want to do right, to be right, to have a relationship with a God who really was concerned about me, to feel better as a person about myself and the choices that I make, who I was becoming as a woman. Earlier, it was mentioned that we are a product of our environment. If what I am doing is not yielding the results that I desire, then I have to adjust. I must change. I must research. I must assess myself and see what is wrong. Where am I going wrong in what I am doing? Why am I here? What keeps me in this place? Why am I here in this place again? Really, this is the process of life. This is with relationships. Why am I in this relationship with this guy again? He keeps doing the same thing to me again. With friendships, why am I keep being used by this person? With finances, why can't I seem to ever get ahead? With work life, I want to be in a managerial position, but what do I have to do to get there? If I want to start my own business, they're just different realms within life that we travel through, but we have to check how are we producing based on our environment. What are we seeing? What are we touching? What are we tasting? What are we feeling? What are we smelling? All of those senses, they are attaching to you. What you do will produce a result. An action will produce a reaction. Sometimes we like the reaction, and sometimes we dislike the reaction or result. If you don't remember anything else, I need you to know that I am counting on you. I believe in you. Change your environment. Expect a different outcome. Get amongst some real women that are doing positive things, that are business minded, they're productive, they're classy, they have something to be admired. Beauty is from the inside out. I do my best because I'm counting on you, counting on me. Thanks for joining me for today's Table Talk session. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time.